My name is Bill Perry. I'm the Director of the International Corporate Counsel College for 2017. Wonderful stuff, the Corporate Counsel College. We take place in different cities throughout Europe in every year. This year we're fortunate enough to be in Amsterdam, one of the most exciting and interesting cities in Europe. And we have an equally exciting program. The point of the International Corporate Counsel College is to bring cutting-edge issues to in-house counsel and to discuss with them and for them how they handle the issues which are keeping them awake at night. And we have assembled a wonderful team of people to talk about the really important issues affecting the world of business this year. Of course, we live in interesting times. I am, as you can probably tell from the accent, English, and we have Brexit to cope with. The international scene also is coping with an America First policy and a European Commission which is taking very big bites out of Apple and Google. And so we live in interesting times where governments are impinging on business more and more every year. So our theme this year is, in effect, 21st century government, friend or foe. How do you live with them? How do you live without them? How do you get around them? How do you help them? But above all, how do you help yourselves and your corporations doing business globally in these climates? So we're starting with the simplest issue where government can hinder business, and that is where if it simply comes along and expropriates your assets and how you deal with that. And we are having experts talking to you on that subject from people as varied as AIG and the Singapore legal circuit. I mentioned Singapore. That's an excellent example of how global the ICC is actually going to be. We have speakers from no fewer than 17 countries around the globe at our Amsterdam ICC, and so no matter how global your business is or where it is located, we shall be able to help you with insights about that legal scene. So moving on from expropriation, we talk about human rights. Companies nowadays are increasingly concerned, and have to be, because of government legislation about how they must source and how they must treat their workers who produce for them the products that they assemble and sell. And so we have people from Greenpeace. The campaigning and legal director of Greenpeace is going to come and talk to us about human rights and things like slavery, modern day slavery in countries where you might be sourcing products and how you handle that. And two more corporate or communications directors, one private practitioner, and that panel is moderated by the former legal director of Royal Dutch Shell. So we are getting right into the corporate structure there with people who know what affects businesses and how they need to cope with them. We're also going to parts of the world that the IADC has never been to before. We have a program specifically on African trade law with contributors from Nigeria, from Kenya, from South Africa, and from Zambia, telling you all about how the programs of their governments and their legislation and how things actually work in practice will affect your business there and the product you're sourcing there. And we go on through programs about whistleblowing, an everyday problem for large corporations throughout the world. How do you handle somebody who blows a whistle on an undesirable practice within your organization? We have a program on dawn raids, what the EU Commission may do to you, how it will do it to you, and how you resist that. And that will feature an actual mock dawn raid in the hall at the program. And then finally, we go on to follow on actions and how you can take advantage of what the EU has found if it conducts a dawn raid on one of your competitors. Or alternatively, of course, how you defend yourself if it's done it to you and somebody else then follows on as a result of it taking action against you. And finally, to do with government, I'm pleased to be able to say that we have as one of our speakers a former UK Attorney General who will be talking to us about Brexit and what it looks as if it will mean for the UK and the European Union, and the UK and the European Union's orientation towards the rest of the world. This will be a fascinating program. It's too early to tell, of course, how Brexit will work out, but this will give us some very early pointers. You will be at, again, the cutting edge of what is actually happening in politics as it affects the business world. And finally, not to be forgotten, there's an ever-increasing concentration by staff and by the press, and for that matter everybody else, on social media. So we have a specific session on social media, moderated by lawyers, but including absolutely cutting-edge proponents and activists within social media, such as Ces Bidwick, the Managing Director of Scene Connects. And so we are going to help you cope with your staff's obsession with social media and how you can use it to help your own company when they're on social media. And finally, a little bit traditionally, we are going to talk about the enforcement of judgments and arbitration awards around the world, but with particular reference to from China, from Brazil and from Russia, to talk about how it is easiest both to enforce foreign judgments in those countries and their judgments elsewhere. So we are trying to cover all the cutting edge issues, all the important issues for your business, and if you are a private practitioner, for the businesses you are advising. If you come to the International Corporate Counsel College, you will leave much better informed, much wiser, absolutely up to date with the issues that the businesses who are either yours or your clients will need you to deal with in the years to come. We look forward to seeing you. You will have a wonderful time in a wonderful city. We have social events planned as well, but above all, you will learn a lot. You will network with your peers, because remember that the International Corporate Counsel College is 50-50 corporate counsel to external counsel, so you will have a hugely productive and we hope hugely enjoyable time.